Alright guys, it's a long time since I did a review or a video on a new knife, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is probably going to be a bit of a mess. Yeah, I finally got the bug again and the funds to go with it, so I spent some time trawling various websites, and mostly Amazon, because if you live here in America's hat, then that is usually your best way of getting a blade. And I had a whole lot of options available, and a whole lot of things that have been on my list for a long time. This was not one of them. It kind of came to me as a bit of a whim almost, but going through various pros and cons of different models, including price, spec, lock type, all that kind of stuff, I kind of arrived at the fact that I wanted a new Benchmade. And at the time when I was considering buying this, I was really enjoying the only other Benchmade that I own at the moment, which is this mini Griptilian, the original version with the crappy scales, and really enjoying the axis lock. And before, I've kind of shit on the axis lock a little bit, I will admit, because it's not always been a favourite of mine, but I was really enjoying it, and I came to the conclusion I want a new Benchmade, and there were a few different ones I was looking at, and it just kind of boiled down to this ticked all the boxes, and that really surprised me, because I don't know if you remember, but about 18 months or so ago, I picked up a large Onslaught in a trade. There's a satin blade version, and didn't really enjoy it that much. I thought the shape looked awkward. I didn't like the action. It seemed just too big and too bulky, and I didn't really like very much about it at all. But the fact that this was all of that in a smaller package and all black coated, which is nice and tactical, you know, I like my tactical looking blades, this just kind of spoke to me, so I went ahead and bought it, and have absolutely zero regrets, guys. There's a couple of knocks against this, a couple of things we'll get to that I don't like, but overall this is going to be a very positive review, I have to say. So let's get the basics out of the way first. Of course, it comes in a nice blue box. This is a new style blue box, or well, it's probably not new now, but it's the first Benchmade I've got that comes in this style of box, as opposed to the older one. You can see there 746 is model number, BK for black, 154 cm blade steel, manual opening, everyday carry. It kind of hits that sweet spot of 3 1/4 to 3.5 inch blade, blue class of course, usual nice Benchmade bag, a little bit of manual and all the rest of it in there, just the usual nice Benchmade stuff. Everything from Benchmade just feels quality, doesn't it? I mean, even the packaging just feels, you know, not to knock Spyderco, you know I love my Spydercos, but Benchmade boxes just feel better, don't they? Or is that a bit geeky? Anyway, the knife itself, of course, being an axis lock, is basically super smooth right out of the box. I've had this, what, probably a month now, but I mean, it's a free swinging blade from the get-go if you have an axis lock, and yeah, it just impressed me right out of the box. I really like the look of this, the all black coated blade. Of course, we'll see how that holds up over time. Although I must say my mini grip is also coated, and that has held up very well. That's had quite a lot of use. Not a huge blade. Let's get some size comparisons. We'll put that in the middle. We'll put the, that's a mini Griptilian, not a full size. So you can see it is significantly larger than that. Here's a good comparison. Paramilitary 2, something that a lot of you will be familiar with the size of. Look at that for size comparison, pretty much identical. What else do we have here? Victorinox Pioneer. What else are we lying around? And it is significantly smaller than what I would consider to be a large knife or a large EDC, such as this 452 ZT. You can see it's kind of dwarfed there. So not a huge knife in length terms, and certainly a good EDC size in my opinion. There's a few other videos online comparing it with the Paramilitary, so I'm not going to break with that mold. It's a very good comparison, I think, so we'll leave the Paramilitary here on the table, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. One thing that you will notice about this knife is that it is not what you'd call the slimmest. So although it is, let's just do another comparison here, you can see we're pretty close to the Paramilitary, even in cutting length. Let's have a look at thickness. You can see there it is quite, oh sorry about the focus guys, but I'm just trying to hold these up together. You can see there it is quite a bit thicker, particularly when you include pocket clips there. And of course this is not flow-through construction. This does have a solid backspacer, G10 scales. I'm not sure, I think the backspacer must be G10 as well. It's certainly something quite plasticky and not particularly nice, but that's just a small knock against it. Let's get the other negative stuff out of the way first. I think personally, when you look at the knife this side on, particularly the black coated version, and I know that that's really a preference thing. A lot of guys don't like black coated blades or have something against them. They're slightly knife racist, you could say. I don't have anything against them. I think they look absolutely awesome. I like the all blacked out look. I think it's really cool. It's a far nicer looking blade than the satin version on this particular model. Not all blades suit it. I think the paramilitary looks great in satin, or plain steel if you will. I think this looks great coated. But anyway, I think it looks awesome on this side. Nice curve to the handle, real kind of almost harpoon swedge on the blade there. Very nice proportions. I think everything looks awesome on this side. This slightly kind of arbitrary divot here, although it does kind of give you a little bit of grip for your fingertips. But this is all, you know, no, not stealing, but borrowing from Bob Lum's design language. And I think this was actually one of his models that Benchmade just recreated. I'm not entirely sure on that. I should have done my research first, shouldn't I? But then you flip the knife over and you see this thing. Like what is that? What is that? And again, I should have checked this before, I didn't mean to. I don't know if that's a Bob Lum design pocket clip or a Benchmade design pocket clip, but whoever designed it should, you know, probably hold up their hands and say sorry, because that is just an absolute abortion of a pocket clip. I mean, it's just, it kind of took me back. I'd forgotten how bad it was on the one that I had before. And I took this out of the box and thought, oh, it's a gorgeous knife, turn it over, and you know, it does kind of catch your eye and make you think, what the hell is that? I'm not a particular fan of the standard Spyderco pocket clip, but that is leagues ahead. And then let's bring in one of the pocket clips that I think is one of the absolute best available in terms of design and look, this deep carry Benchmade clip. Why could they not have found some way to put that on there? And I think, from what I looked up before last year, I think it was something to do with the fact this is a Bob Lum design clip and it's meant to go with this knife and whatever. But if they had just found a way to put that on there, and I've even thought about it myself, like, is there some way I can fashion to put that on there? But I don't really think there's any very easy way to do it. But if they could just have put that on there, wouldn't that have made life so much better? All black, deep carry clip on this knife. But anyway, it is what it is. That is my, if that's my biggest knock against it, the pocket clip, then it's really not so bad, is it? Action is absolutely flawless, whether you're just flicking it with the lock, Spidey flick, smooth thumb hole deployment, very clear engagement with the lock, good detent, nice action on the axis lock as always. So in terms of an EDC blade, really nice size, very comfortable in the hand. You have this nice little kind of finger divot here, no jimping on the back, but there's this nice flat spot for your thumb to rest, and just feels really comfortable in the hand, even in comparison to this kind of EDC All-Star that we have here, the paramilitary. The flat, you know, you pick this up and then you pick up the paramilitary, the flat sides of this G10 kind of feel clunky in your hand, and it kind of shows it up a little bit in terms of the ergonomics of the grip, although obviously the forward choil and the sculpting of the handle in a vertical kind of sense is great in the Spyderco. The curving and 3D aspect of this handle, if I can show you that, really makes it for a very comfortable hold. And yeah, I've used this quite a bit in the last 3-4 weeks. A lot of daily tasks, food prep, cutting up cardboard boxes, all that sort of stuff. I have to say, it didn't come massively sharp. Not really all that sharp at all. I did give it a little touch up quite early on, and since then it's been really nice. I find the big belly on the blade really makes for short work of a lot of tasks. You can see in blade shape comparison here, we're going from almost no belly to, let's put that in the middle, kind of the curve that we all know of the paramilitary, which is very useful for a utility blade. But that strong curvature there really makes for nice slicing, and yeah, really useful blade. 154 cm on this, if we can focus on this side. And I'm no steel expert, I say this in every video, but I'm not getting any better at steels. I'm still no steel expert, so if anyone wants to chip in and compare 154 cm with, where are we? Good old S30V for me. I did some Googling and found some mixed opinions. A lot of people saying it's basically the same thing. A lot of people saying S30V was a little bit better. If you have an opinion, please feel free to share it in the comments. You can see there Lum's kind of trademark logo there. Bob Lum, of course, the designer of the Onslaught series. And yeah, just a really cool little knife, and definitely one that I was quite glad that I stumbled across. I didn't really stumble across, but kind of it was a surprise to me that it was the next blade on my buy list, put it that way, because there's a lot of knives on there that have been on for quite a lot longer than this one, and they kind of got surpassed when I realized that this was what I wanted to add to my collection next. So let's have a look at centering. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to remember how to do a knife video here. Do I have a flashlight? Because this thing is so black, it is eating up the light, and I can't actually see. See if we can throw some light in here. Hopefully you can see there that centering is pretty much perfection. Very slightly off to one side. Yeah. I talked about sharpness, centering, ergonomics. What else? Price. Blade HQ currently, these are just under 160 US, and that's for the coded version, about 140 something for the satin version, and that's the mini, of course. I'm not sure about the large mini version. A Paramilitary 2 currently at Blade HQ, I think is around about 135, something like that. So you are going to pay a little bit more for this. We're at this point no stranger to Benchmade's pricing. Is it value for money? Well, yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think this is value for money because this is priced below. You know, this is an extremely attractive price for what you get at the moment for Paramilitary 2. You get so much knife, I think, and so much utility for that money. And if you look at other Spydercos, not to go on too much of a tangent from this review of supposedly this knife, but if you look at other Spydercos, I'm looking at Sage series, it baffles me, but it must just be a numbers thing. It's a production thing, and the number of these they sell, that must be what that's about. But I think this is a fantastic value, which means that this is still good value. I think around about 160. Really a very nice knife for the money. Yeah, so I think we will wrap it up there in terms of this being a basic review of this knife. Definitely a recommended EDC blade. Nice size, maybe a little thick, but not an uncomfortable carry due to the curvature of the handle. Usual axis lock qualities of excellent deployment, strong lockup, really smooth, easy to operate lock, and just a very nice fun blade to play with. Very nice to use, comfortable in the hand, looks good. Got all those kind of qualities. Let's get rid of this because this is really about this knife rather than any others. We might come back to a bit of a ramble and we'll talk about some other blades and include this one, but for now, as a basic review, I think that bit covers it. Definitely happy with this purchase, and would definitely recommend this one. So thanks for stopping by, guys, and back with more videos soon. Cheers.